So in Architect Life, it is a house design and simulator, and to be honest, it's really good. You've got a career-based kind of mode that you basically are just trying to produce projects and trying to beat people's either imagination on what they want to build, but then also how you deliver, how long you take to deliver, and also the budget that has been given. But you do have the free mode, so we are going to go through and just basically go through what's your options when it comes to it. So as you can see, we've got the new build here. You've got the request for a proposal, you've got free build or inspiration, so be inspired by your previous project. So for right now, I'm going to show you the free build because we are going to go through basically what we actually want to build here. You'll be able to see that a lot of these kind of new free projects will be projects that you are going to be building across your career path as well. We also then have the mountain biome as well if you wanted to do that. So there's a lots of different kind of extra bits that you can throw in there. We are just going to go with the standard. We're just going to go with the mill because it's a very easy kind of design. You've got a very much top-down design as well, which is always nice. And you can kind of go with whatever you want here. Now, when it comes to the design itself, it depends on what you're looking for. This is where the career mode side of stuff is pretty good because they kind of give you the specification that they want. For instance, the mill is a very specific build, so you just have to build it as you want, and there's no real kind of bad or good way to do it. You can make it as artistic as you like or as standard as you like. So when you get into the game to start with, you'll be given this blank canvas to work with. Obviously, when we do look at it, you can go in the top down if you press the right analog stick in, and you can obviously start with your objectives. You have all of your almost starting points here, so you'll be able to see the structural work, the finishing, the exterior, the furnishing, and also the decorating. Now, I would say if you are looking at any sort of projects, you'll be able to see on the back, on the menu button, what they have for the exterior. What I would suggest is definitely looking at that first because that will kind of mold how your house is going to be built. But first things first, you obviously want to go with the structural work. So you're looking at the walls, and obviously you've got different budgets across which almost material that you use. So a lot of it, the bog standard will be the concrete, and then you've got the exterior wall, which is going to be straw, wood, brick, and concrete. So if we wanted to go and build a specific lot, we can go and add this in here. So obviously we're in a grid form. You can obviously turn it off and on. I personally do like the grid form. So we are going to go with a standard build here. We're going to go with a pretty normal shape, really, more so than anything. So in fact, we're going to let a bit of garden room. So we're going to go and start about here. We're going to have more of a longer garden, if anything. And we're going to have a pretty standard kind of rectangle build going down. As you can see, the money side of stuff does kind of hit in pretty hard. Then obviously from there, we want to look at either walls, we want to look at partitions. So depending on what you're going to go for, if you are going to be looking at stairs to go into multiple angles, so you can keep going up if you really wanted to, depending on your build. So for instance, for this one, I am going to bring the walls down so I can't see them for the moment. And we are going to bring in some partition walls. Now obviously, the main things that you're going to be looking at really on the bottom is you take a normal house design. If I'm going to have a front door right in here, am I going to have a porchway? Am I going to go with a living room over here, a dining room over here, or am I going to go for almost that kitchen diner sort of vibe? Now obviously for this I am going to go with some different stairs, so obviously you can go ahead and add the stairs in first. It's all dependent on how your process works and what you're looking to try and build. If obviously you're trying to build more of like a grand staircase, then you can obviously do that by moving stairs together or kind of having the design work. So you can see we've got the half turn, you can either go for the quarter as well, and you can go for the long straight, which is going to be, we're going to go say straight in the middle here. It will also snap if you use the snapping mode on, and you can go with this. I'm going to whack these here. So knowing that basically nothing's going to be behind here, but then we're going to have the two different rooms that we can kind of partake between them. So you could obviously have either the living room and then a ginormous kitchen here. We could also have basically moved the wall going forward. So there is different ways that you can obviously attack it as such. So you can see that we will go up to the stairs here. And then obviously from there you can work out if you want another stairs or if you're going to have it like that. So for instance, for this one, we're going to just bring in the partition walls just so we've got something here. We're going to literally make it that you've got a little bit of a step if you really wanted to, and we've got some decorations that we can do. And again, if symmetry is your thing, you can make it as symmetrical as you really want to there or not. Personally, it's not too fussed on this one because it is just showing you the basics when it comes to this game. Obviously that would be absolutely troublesome for me. There we go. That's bit better, I think. So obviously then we've got the front door that we need. So you've got the railings and all of that good stuff, so you can obviously put that out front if you really wanted to. We've got the tiles, but the main thing is we're going to want to get that front door. So we've got the interior doors that we'll work on, but this is going to be the exterior doors. So again, if you want to whack all the walls up, you can kind of see where you're going. Are you looking for more of a view from here? So for instance, are you going for the middle of the staircase, or are you not too fussed? And sometimes it can be a bit fiddly depending on obviously the PC or obviously the Xbox. We are looking at the console edition, and it can be moved as well. If you don't think you're quite in line, that can obviously be moved. So then we're going to bring the walls up here, and we're going to add the doors in for the interior. And again, you can kind of go with them doors, or you can go with the French doors that you can bring out as well. And then we also have a garage if you wanted to add. So we're just going to add some doors going through because we're looking a bit fancy. We're going to go and do with the 2 French doors, and it gives you a little line as well that we can kind of work with. So that is going to be pretty much all of your bog standard stuff. You've got the windows as well, I suppose, as the big one, which again, you can either have the very large windows, which personally for me is going to be a very nice attraction on the front, but you're going to need to have that room. So you got to make sure that all the room is there. Obviously, if we wanted to go for more of that, and then we can do the same here for the interior, and we'll do the same for this side. And what I could do, for instance, is if I did want the very large windows, maybe you'd just, I don't know why anybody would want windows this large, but if you are going for that fancy window look, you can obviously make yourself basically Big Brother's house. So that's going to be the kind of standard stuff when it comes to your generic structural work. You've obviously got the roof as well. If you wanted to go for like a balcony, if you wanted to go for just a normal roof, then obviously you can go like that, and it will basically give you your sort of thing. But you kind of want to do that at the end anyways. If you are building more than one floor, you obviously will want to finish all that first. The finishing side of stuff is going to be basically your painting, your heating, your aircon, the fireplace, and then also it's going to be your wallpaper and your roofing, and also then the floors. You've got the tiles. So obviously if you are looking, for instance, at more of a, well, it says here for bathroom, really it kind of gives you that vibe. So for instance, if this is going to be more of your kitchen side of stuff, you probably want more tile based stuff, if anything, in there. Again, coloring, you want to go with the color schemes, and this is where the game really kind of gives you your own. So you can go and really make the kitchen vibe yourself. And if you wanted a different color, obviously you can go with brickwork if you really wanted to, and as if you keep going down, you can kind of go in with that tiling on the walls as well. You can make it the entire room, as you can see on the RB there, which is always nice, and that's going to give you the vibe. And again, you can move everything as well. It's not necessarily has to stay at once. Then obviously you've got to do each room. So if you wanted to do it on here, and if you wanted more of a blue, then you can just go ahead and do the whole of it. You can make your feature walls, and that's going to be a standard. If you wanted to go for more of the flooring, you can obviously utilize that as well, and you can kind of put that in whatever room you should choose. Now, as we go forward, we can obviously then go up the stairs, but first you have got the unnamed rooms, as you see. If I do click off this, and if I go onto it, I can't remember if I have to go, which one? I have to go on the structural work. You can see we've got the configuration, so it can give you my list of rooms. So if I know that's going to be the kitchen, that's going to be wonderful there. We've got the structure of it, which then we can obviously merge as well if we wanted to merge some rooms together, and then obviously we can divide as well if needed. We then got in here, we can obviously go ahead, and once you've got onto it, you kind of just have to fiddle around a little bit with it, because sometimes it will kind of put your cursor on something else. This is where the annoying part of being on the console compared to the actual PC. So if we go like that, sometimes it will work out a little bit easier. We can configure there, and then obviously you can go with whatever you want. Do you want to go with the entrance, the kitchen? We'll go with the living room for this one, and then obviously in the middle we are looking more towards the kind of reception room more so than anything. You've got your entrance as such. So they're going to be the rooms on top, and obviously you do the exact same as moving on to the second floor. So for instance, would go with more structural work, and again you'd go with the walls. You'd probably want to pick the same ones that you've gone with, and you just follow the same pattern around. Again, you just got to keep going. You can obviously make it overhang a little bit if you really wanted to, but I think you'll probably need some beams. I don't know if you can obviously move it across, and then if we go like that, it should give you the flooring. I'm assuming it will only let you do so much, so if you make a small base and then a massive on like a mushroom top, it won't work as much. So you can change the shape a little bit if you wanted to kind of make almost like a little driveway such without it being a generic garage. That could work as well. And again, you just go through the same settings when it comes to the actual partition, the any doors, and you move through like that. Which then brings us to the exterior. You've obviously got your games, you've got your small pool if you really want to, and it's why I would suggest most definitely you will need to make sure you've got that there going. You will obviously want to make sure that your garden is a little bit on the bigger side, or the house is a slight bit smaller, depending on what you're going for. Now, obviously with the mill, it is quite a small plot of land, so if you do go for something different, that is always possible as well, that it does give you a bit more to work with. And then once you've kind of gone through all of your garden stuff, from your swimming pools, your games, the fountains, energy sort of stuff, into then the shrubs and trees, gazebos, sheds if you really wanted to. Obviously then you've got the open garage which can work. So there's a few different things you can utilize. But then you go into the actual furnishing of stuff. So you've got all your rooms together. You then have the kind of options between different beds. You've got kids, normal, double. We then throw into armchairs, sofas, and then we've got coffee tables going in. And there is still a limited purchase that you could do on this. We then have base units. We have cooking appliances and sinks. We have tables, chairs. We then have wash basins, showers, bathtubs. We have desks and office chairs. We then go into the toilets, and that's going to be kind of all of your furnishing sort of stuff, which is the bigger stuff, because then finally you've got your decorations. This is going to be just basically everything thrown in one. So from all of your types of chairs and beds, all in one. You find then your appliances that you put on the side, from your coffee machines to your fridges, then obviously some more toilets again, and this is going to be just everything lumped in one. So you've kind of got everything in your different styles, from obviously a doorbell, you've then got a birdhouse, barbecue if you really want one outside, to then your bookcases and also sideboards. As we go down, you've got TV benches, you've got shelves, all of that good stuff. We then go into base units, islands if you really want them, wall units, cooking appliances, sinks, and then also tall units. We then have some lamps, bedside lamps, wall lamps, outdoor lamps, the standards, plants, garden features, outdoor plants, into then the living room tables and outdoors, which then gives us into a bit of electronics, from your kind of flat screen TV, your curved TV, and also wall mounted with a PC or laptop. And it also gives us some extra little bits from like kind of like a rug square, more so than anything, and different accessories. We've also got a hairdryer that you can throw in just to add that almost personal touch. We also have some tire stacks, which is if you're kind of looking at almost a gym area, that works. And that's going to be everything that we can do. From there, you just end it, and that would give you your final product. Obviously, if you are doing the career mode, it will kind of show you how you build, and you'll basically employ contractors, and you've got to keep within that budget. As you see, we're already up to 66 grand, and we've barely done anything, but you can see we have got the surface area absolutely massive. So if we did want to go with a bigger project, we could add a little bit more extra, and we can still go up if needed. I think you can go up to 5 floors, I want to say. I think at the 5th floor, so I think it's 4 floors, and the 5th one has to be the roof, or it's at least the roof after that at the minimum. And that's going to be pretty much all your basic stuff when it comes to actually designing. Obviously, if you do got any more extra tips for anybody, leave it down below. It's pretty much just a configuration tool, and I would suggest that most definitely the PC is going to be a great version. But on the console, it's not necessarily the most expensive game in the world, which is fantastic. So let me know down below how you're getting on, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.